Welcome to Moon Harbor Heroes. Today's issue is The Rider, Issue 2, Meeting Management. On the cover, we see Rider Typhon and Lighthammer back to back in a cave. Cult guards with guns menace them from all sides. Looming over them, we see an imposingly tall shadow of a skinny man. In the bottom right corner, we see a silver embossed logo in bold letters, Blockade. We turn the page and our story begins.
Alan wants to kind of take a moment, and he's thinking, and you can clearly see he's like, you see a panel of looking down at him or looking up at him, maybe better looking up at him, and he's just like, grab the pen, grab at least one of the pens, leave the rest of them. Let's get out of here.
I grab one of the pens, and then I look at the entrance to the cave, and I'm like, do you want them to follow us or not?
No, but I'll handle that. Get up to the surface quickly.
I look at him, and I'm like, I can handle myself. I'm going to use the hammer and swing it to break the sound barrier and just like send a wave of energy straight into the rocks at the top of the entrance to the tunnel and just collapse it.
I would like you to unleash your powers.
I was going to do the same thing.
That's a 9.
Felix, would you like to help?
Yeah, since I see that he's doing the same thing, I'm actually going to... Now, we're, of course, we're getting out of there and then collapsing it, or how are we doing that?
I was going to collapse the tunnel of the, like, inner area to, like, separate the people who are unconscious.
Leading deeper from the room you're in.
Okay. I'm actually going to do this. I'm actually going to, as you do that, I'm going to, like, as you do that to send that, I'm actually going to just punch the wall beside the doorway to just help the collapse that direction with my mighty might, my Herculean strength.
Excellent. That's a 10. So, tell me what that panel looks like.
I grab the light hammer with both my hands, and I bring it up over my head, and then like swing it as hard as I can. The light hammer itself is actually the thing that does the like sound barrier breaking. My strength doesn't help it at all, and it swings down. It stops like an inch from the ground because I'm not trying to like break the floor. But it swings down, and we get this, like, vertical blast of energy that just slams into the rocks just as Ryder punches it, and the rocks just collapse.
Ooh, when Ryder punches, can we have this, like, crack go from Ryder's hand up to, like, the top, and that's exactly where the blast hits? Like, right on the crack.
Absolutely.
I love it. Love it.
And then the next thing we see is as the rocks collapse, I've turned around, and we get a moment of the hammer slung over my shoulder, and my entire armor just glints as this like wave of dust comes up behind me.
Excellent. And what are y'all doing?
I'm actually going to look at Lighthammer and go, how much time do you think this bought us?
25, 30 minutes probably. It's a lot of rock.
Good. Let's tie these guys up, grab the pins, and then get out of here. We're taking trophies.
Great. I'm going to very adeptly, like way more adeptly than is appropriate for a cartoon that teenagers read, use the belts that they're each wearing to tie their hands to their feet.
Ah, excellent. Are you taking all the pins?
As you're doing that, Ryder has walked over there and has begun taking the pins, and he looks at Lighthammer doing this, and he goes, "You've had practice doing that, haven't you?"
I take off the helmet. My hair falls perfectly over my face, as it's wont to do, and my face is stunning. It's beautiful. You've seen it before, because I often walk around with my helmet off, and I just wink at you. And then I put my helmet back on, and I'm like, shall we?
We shall.
It kind of sounds like you guys shared a triumphant celebration there. Do you all think so?
It does sound that way.
That works for me.
Go ahead and trigger away. Whoever wants to start it.
When I share a triumphant celebration with someone, say whether it's part of the show or not. If it is, I can shift labels of my choice. If not, they can shift my labels, and I can clear a condition or mark potential. I do think that was part of the show.
Okay, so go ahead and shift your own labels. And Felix?
Mine is, when you share a triumphant celebration with someone, tell them whether you see them as an equal. If you do, give them influence over you and mark potential. If you don't, shift superior up and any other label down. At this moment in time, he actually does not see Lighthammer as an equal, because he honestly, at this point, still believes that he's heard stories of the old Lighthammer and from Hayun, and this is not Lighthammer. He's helpful, but he's not Lighthammer. At least.
What happens when you say they're not an equal?
Shift superior up and any other label down.
Go.
All right, I'm going to shift superior up and mundane down.
That is exactly what I just did too.
Fantastic.
I was
Y'all are
like,
more alike than you think.
Yeah, we are.
I literally was like, God, we are such good heroes. And like, that was kind of my thought process was like, we are a really good team. We're good heroes. This is going to be great. So I shifted superior up and mundane down.
So we get this panel of the two of you kind of like side by side turning down that corridor you came down, the like 150 yard one, back into the main chamber. And then we start seeing some onomatopoeia words. We hear like a chain like sliding and then slapping into the stone floor, coming down the hallway very slowly.
Towards us?
Towards you.
Like from behind us or in front of us?
From the direction of the main chamber that has the stairway. So I guess that would be in front of you now since you're going back.
I turn and I'm like, you hear that, right?
Yep. You might want to make sure your helmet's tight.
You know me. I'm always tight, baby. And then I hold the hammer in my hands and get ready.
Ryder's also readies himself for whatever's about to walk through that door.
Is there any specific things you're doing? You definitely have a little bit of time here. It's moving pretty slowly, and you know it's a fairly long corridor. You meet it head on. You trying to ambush?
I'm gonna turn on. I've got like essentially from my helmet, I can make all sound around me like silent, like put us in like a soundproof bubble essentially.
Okay.
So I'm gonna basically soundproof us. I'm gonna be like, so the thing coming towards us, we've got chains. It sounds like there's just one of them. Can I check that? Can I like sonar that to see how many people are coming towards us?
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead and unleash your powers.
Yeah, I definitely failed that one.
Okay. So we get these gold waves, flying down the corridor and then bouncing back, and you get no information. It's as if you hit a solid wall, but you do hear it's the voice of a man who does not talk very often. It sounds very dry and kind of unsure of itself, as if it's not positive it's making the right sounds. You hear this voice calling down the hallway. You're trapped. Are you going to come and give yourselves up? And you hear the chain slapping into the ground as the thing's getting closer.
Ryder looks at Light and goes, this guy doesn't know what he's dealing with, does he? So what are you thinking? Ambush?
I've got a better idea. Hang back for a second.
Fair enough. And Ryder just steps back out of the way.
And then we get a panel with the mouth of like the entrance, and we're just starting to see this shape, come into enough light to kind of see details. And it's this not taller than a human could be, but taller than a human normally is. And same thing with skinny. Not skinnier than a human could possibly be, but enough that it's a bit questionable.
Mm-hmm.
In this absolutely immaculate, like black, like thin line business suit. There's a very clear like symbol of the cult embroidered into the collar. And he has a chain wrapped around each hand that's hanging down. He slaps one into the ground as it comes into view. And pinned to the other side is this small name placard that just says Human Resources.
I love that. I'm going to walk into view and I'm going to be glowing. And I also have now turned, so I'm officially live streaming. And in the corner, like we see it through my point of view, in the corner of my vision, the number of viewers just starts popping up. And we're already close to 50, and it's been streaming for about 3 seconds.
Okay, excellent. In the background of that panel, like we see the fallen rock wall behind you. And we're definitely starting to see like small written sounds of like rocks being moved and mumbled talking behind. People are starting to dig through.
I'm going to step up. The hammer is slung over my shoulder now. And I step up into view with my hands up. And I'm like, you're right. We're trapped. You got me here. So sorry about that. We just, we got a little lost. And I've been looking for my friend, sorry. We should probably get out of here. Right.
Ryder is standing in the background of the panel that would be looking at Light. And he's got his arms crossed and his head sort of cocked sideways like, can I punch him yet?
Are you in view of the guy?
Oh yeah, no, I stepped into view.
No, is Ryder in view of the guy? You could be standing off to the side where you're not
I'm standing off to the side where I'm not visible.
He breaks the man breaks into this huge grin. I'm just gonna start calling him by his name. His name is Human Resources. So HR breaks into a huge grin and goes, "You can try," and then whips the chain out towards you. What are you doing?
Immediately, I pull the hammer off and send a sound wave just blasting down the hallway towards him. And since I have an audience watching, I'm going to mark a condition and roll plus superior instead of danger.
Okay. What are you marking?
I think I'm going to mark afraid. Maybe. Hold on. Actually, I think I'm going to mark angry. I don't think I'm afraid right now. I think I'm just like, this isn't the way this was supposed to happen. And I'm just like, everything is frustrating. And I thought this was going to be an easy, like, quick team up, like, beat the bad guy, make out with Alan, or make out with Ryder a little bit. But that's not quite what's happening. And I'm kind of pissed.
Okay. Go ahead and roll to directly engage.
And that's a 10.
Okay. Yeah. Do two.
I'm going to resist or avoid their blows and create an opportunity for my ally.
All right, cool. Tell me how you, he's swinging the chain at you. Tell me how you avoid it. Go ahead and narrate this. What happens? What's the panel?
Yeah, so as the chain is coming towards me, the hammer comes off. And like right when the chain is right in front of me, the hammer catches the end of it and just knocks it to the ground. And we see the sound wave literally traveling along the chain and smacking HR right in the hand and like knocking him off balance.
Okay, excellent.
So like hits him like hand and shoulder and kind of like knocks him to the side a little bit.
Yeah, I think he like spins with the force of the blow.
And I'm gonna say, Ryder, now.
So as he spins, the chain in his other hand, the one that you did not knock to the ground, sweeps across the side of the wall, and you can see this hair in reality, and like beyond it, you can see fire, and a like large biker guy starts trying to crawl out of the hole, but is very slowly making his way out because it's a fairly thin gash. Ryder, what are you doing?
All you're going to see is you're going to see a panel in the next panel. You're going to see where Ryder's speech bubble goes, "I can't let you do that." And Ryder just appears in front of the guy, grabs the chain, kind of actually using his elbow to push this, whatever the hell's coming out of this portal into the wall, back into the wall. And he's going to take his other hand and just put it squarely in this guy, center of this guy's chest.
Cool. Go ahead and roll to directly engage. On a 7 to 9, pick one.
I'm wanting to, I'm going to say impress, surprise, or frighten the opposition. And in this case, frighten. I want to see if I can frighten him.
Okay, awesome. So you punch him square in the chest. And let me run through this. So you grab the chain and you elbow the thing back into the portal. That all happens. It kind of goes falling. It falls out of view and you kind of hear a bit of a scream, and it's falling for far longer than you would expect it to.
Oh, God.
Then you punch the guy in the chest. He goes flying backwards with your super strength, straight up off his feet, down the hallway. And the chain goes...
back up the stairs?
Well, back towards the... So we're in the hallway leaning between the large entry chamber and the small chamber you had the gun.
Okay, good.
So he's kind of flying back into that large entry chamber. And then the chain goes taut as he hits the limit of it, and you look down, the chain has like formed into a single piece around your wrist, and you go flying with him.
Woohoo!
He lands on the ground. You can hear him cough, and it's knocked the breath out of him. And he kind of jumps to his feet and takes several steps back. And he's like, I was told you were the weaker of the riders. And he slaps his other hand down and into the ground. It rips open a portal, and one of those bikers jumps up out of it and advances on you, Ryder. Ryder, how did you land when you got pulled?
So he gets pulled, and I was going to say, as Ryder's flying through the air, because he's now flying with the guy.
I like that you're strong enough to punch yourself through the air.
Yes. He's getting pulled, so actually he maneuvers his wrist to grab the chain and pulls himself faster. And he is basically going to lay into the biker dude and put the biker dude in the human resources guy.
Okay, so when you land, are you landing gracefully? You're totally able.
Yeah, yes.
Okay. And so we've got this tuffle between you and the biker guy, and the biker guy gets a really strong punch across your face. It is far strong. This is a big, meaty biker dude, but you can see close up, his eyes are just black, solid voids. Like, they don't even appear to be orbs. They appear to be like a flat black plane. And he just punches you across the face, and it hurts. Go ahead and take a powerful blow.
Can I use Never Give Up, Never Surrender? Would this be a powerful blow enough for that?
Okay, yes. If it was just one of these bikers on their own, no. But attached to, like, when they're directly controlled by HR, yeah.
All right, that is on a hit, you stand strong and choose one, and the choices are you get an opportunity or opening against your attacker, you rally from the hit and it inspires the team, or you keep your attacker's attention. And I'm actually going to use that to, I don't know how it would look, but rally from the hit and let it inspire Lighthammer.
Okay, so tell me if this is wrong, but I assume Lighthammer goes bolting down the hallway after the flying rider. So, Lighthammer sees this, I'm just going to start calling the bikers by their names, they're choppers. This chopper punch Ryder across the face, and Ryder just kind of stands strong against it. Is there a mechanical thing to the inspiration of the team?
No, it just says rally. Okay. It just says it inspires the team.
Cool. And we're going to jump over to Lighthammer. You just see Felix take this big old hit across the face and just stand strong against it. What do you do?
As I'm running, I'm going to take the hammer and slam it into the ground and send a sound wave / rock and debris in a path just to hit the chopper and ideally knock the chopper back into HR.
Go ahead and directly engage.
Cool. That's an 8.
On a 7 to 9, pick one.
I want to take something from them. I want to take the chain that is currently holding Ryder, so Ryder can be free.
So this sonic blast cuts straight through the chain, just like right a couple inches above Ryder's wrist. So we had like this little dangling bracelet on Ryder, and then hits the chopper, knocking it back a few feet, and it kind of falls to its knees. Ryder, what are you doing?
Let's see here.
With the chain unleashed from your arm, HR is immediately swinging it down to slam into the ground, like next to you.
Ryder actually wants to catch the chain, and since is it attached to HR or is he just holding it?
It's hard to tell from this. It's wrapped around his wrist several times and kind of like disappears into his suit. So it might be attached, or it might just be something he has wrapped around his hand holding.
Good. I'm going to grab it before it hits the ground, and I want to use it to throw him against the wall.
Okay, so you grab it. And when you grab it, it immediately, once again, latches on and wraps around your wrist.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to have you go ahead and unleash your powers.
Ooh, boy.
Okay. All right, so you grab it, and then you yank the chain to, lift him off his feet. And with what seems to be absolutely no effort or strain, his arm goes up, and he just holds the chain taut, and you just hit like a rock wall of resistance as he holds back against it. And then he yanks slightly, and it pulls you to the ground. The other chopper, the chopper that was knocked to his feet, is getting up and running towards you, swinging his fists. Lighthammer, what are you doing?
I want to just get in the way of the chopper and using the sonic blasters on my hand, put them up on the chest of the chopper and just like send him flying backwards.
Cool. It sounds like you're defending someone.
Perfect. That's a 9.
All right. On a hit, you do it. 7 to 9, it cost you.
I'm debating if I want to use Team Selfishly and make that not that anymore. Ryder, do you want to help me with that?
So explain exactly what you're doing again.
I'm stepping between the chopper and you, putting my hand on the chopper's chest and just blasting him back so it doesn't hit you.
All right, I'm actually I've been pulled to the ground. I'm going to push myself up quickly and then position myself behind the Lighthammer to allow this to happen.
Yeah, that's cool. Spin the team. And it's a 10. So then just pick one, Lighthammer.
The right thing to do is add a team to the pool, but I'm also a star, so I'm going to clear condition.
Cool.
Okay.
Actually, no. I'm gonna take influence over Ryder.
I'll do that. Okay.
Cool. So this chopper goes flying back into the wall, and like we get these nice cracks in the wall behind it. It hits the ground, and it's not moving. Like it's still breathing, but barely. And HR starts pulling on the chain, trying to drag Ryder over to him.
Good news is Ryder's not letting that happen. Ryder literally stands firm, and basically the chain is taut at this point.
So there's just a dead standoff between the two, and then he kind of shakes the other chain. It drops off of the chopper's neck, and the chopper kind of starts to melt into nothing. And then he swings the chain at Ryder. Like this is obviously not trying to hit the ground and bring up a chopper. He's trying to hit Ryder with it.
I want to catch it.
You do, and it wraps around your hand.
Great.
He yanks it to pull you to the ground and starts dragging you in towards him.
Before he starts dragging him down, Ryder with his free hand pulls. He's still holding he's actually got his sword hooked to his side. At this point, he grabs his sword and he's going to do basically he's going to let the guy pull him towards him, and he's going to fly at the guy with the sword. He is looking to kill, but his sword in the meantime actually begins to glow because he's going to do a point blank Ryder slash.
Okay, excellent. This catches him a bit off guard. At this point, he's kind of realized I can't pull in Ryder, and he's focusing on Lighthammer, who's not nearly as strong. And so go ahead and roll to directly engage. We get this panel of Ryder flying towards him, and he looks up with just obvious shock on his face. It's probably the first time, other than he getting punched across the room, that he has seemed anything other than nonplussed.
Oh, my danger is so low.
You come flying towards him. He sidesteps at the last moment, and your sword just embeds in the ground, in the cave floor below. Probably a good 8 inches, 9 inches. You're strong as shit. And then the other chain releases from Lighthammer, and he swings it, and it just wraps Ryder from foot to neck, just around your body. He's holding you tight there. Lighthammer, you are no longer being dragged, though.
And both of his chains are wrapped around Ryder right now?
Yeah, one is wrapped around Ryder's whole body. The other still limply attached just to Ryder's wrist.
So is he focused on Ryder right now? Could I sneak up and attack him?
He's very focused on Ryder, yes.
I'm going to come up behind him, put both my hands on his ear, and just send a sonic blast into his head.
Oh, fuck.
Okay.
Gonna pop his head like a cherry.
I want you to unleash your powers.
Great. That's a 7.
Unstable, temporary, or marking a condition?
I'm going to mark guilty. I probably could have been a little bit more help in this fight, and then I wasn't.
Okay, what does this look like?
We actually don't see me moving up behind him. It's a close-up on him as he wraps the chain, and we get that hideous grin spread across his face. And it's panel of him grinning, panel of me standing behind him while he grins, and then my hands are on his ears, and his eyes just widen. And then we see in his eyes, we see the sonic, golden sonic waves literally cross across his pupils.
Oh, excellent.
As the sound just blasts into his brain.
And then, so we see those sonic waves across his pupils, and then we get another panel where his eyes go that flat, void plane black, and then his eyes just close, and then he just crumples to the ground. The chains slowly start to release and fall off of Ryder, and are coiled up on the ground at Ryder's feet.
I'm gonna reach down and offer my hand, and then pull Ryder up.
Ryder's gonna take your hand.
I'm gonna pull Ryder up, and we're gonna stand a little too close to each other for just a hair too long. And then I'm gonna pull back and be like, "All right, nice job."
From down the other the corridor, the one where you all caused the rock slide, you start hearing heavy grinding machinery, like a drill.
Ryder is actually going to pick up one of the chains that just fell off of him, and he's going to basically super speed and wrap HR up, and then toss HR into the room, and then look at Light and go, "We need to get out of here now." And no, he's not going to say it that mean. He's going to be like, "We need to get out of here now." You agree?
Not bringing
I'd
HR
be
with you?
I'd follow you anywhere.
No, we don't need HR. That's a problem that we can deal with later.
I'm gonna follow you out when you leave.
Yeah, you all safely make it back to the Cold War.
I turn to him as we're walking up the stairs, and I'm like, "How important do you think it is that we get back up here, or get back down here?"
Not. You thinking what
Great.
I'm thinking?
Yeah. Can we destroy the staircase behind us?
Let's do that. Ryder is going to put his hand out, and the sword that was embedded in the rock down below just does this. You see a panel of it dematerialize from there, and then the next panel is it appearing in Ryder's hand, and then it glows, and he goes, "Ryder, slash!" and then swings his blade as Lighthammer does whatever they do. So you may have a large spread of them both doing their attack.
Yeah,
Are you
guys-
using both
you all
hands
aren't
for
rolling.
your?
Yes, I would be
Okay,
using
cool.
both hands.
Me too. I think we see them in the exact same position. So, are you swinging the sword down?
Yes, swinging the sword down.
Same. So we see this like panel of the two of them in the exact same position, swinging the hammer and sword, and like the gold on both of our costumes is emphasized, just like showing our like matching aesthetic as we bring the sword down and the hammer down, respectively, on the staircase below us.
Cool. What color is Ryder's energy beams off the sword again?
Gold.
Okay, because I
It's
think
like
we get
a-
that like that
it's
gold
like a
beam with
It's like a
the
fire gold, like a fiery gold.
excellent. I think we get like that gold slash beam with the like sonic waves wrapped around it as it just goes down the stairway, just shattering the walls and just leaving a pile of rubble behind.
I think that the next panel will be them out in front of the mall. Like I would say, the next panel. You see that panel, and then the very next panel is them standing beside Ryder's bike.
Okay, cool.
Like you wouldn't even show them leaving beyond that point. That's
yeah,
like
totally down. You
scene
both still in
in.
costume?
Yeah, I would say I'm still in costume, and Lighthammer's always in costume.
Right.
I have taken my helmet off. My hair is perfectly fallen across my face again. My helmet is positioned in such a way that it is kind of catching my face and also Ryder's face, and it is still recording.
And since we're outside, in the background of these shots, just assume there's an occasional Asteron ship in the sky.
Absolutely. Also, like Lighthammer fans tend to like do the like triangulation very quickly and be like, okay, so if that's that building, that's that building. My fans will be showing up very, very shortly.
Okay, awesome. So we are standing outside Ryder's bike.
Yeah, I want a panel of Ryder tossing the pins because he's got a handful of 7 pins in his hands, and he's tossing the pins, and you see that like the individual pins, and one of the pins is facing the actual reader, and then you see, and then his next line he goes, "I guess we need to get out of here pretty quickly."
Lighthammer, what does that symbol look like? I know Lighthammer doesn't know, but your other characters are probably the one who should define that.
Yeah,
It's a 8-pointed white star with what looks like pink cracks across it. And then in the background of it, it looks like the air has been like slashed open. The pin itself actually is like a solid piece of metal, but where the slash marks cut across it, there have been like cutouts on the pin. So you can like see through the pin where the air has been slashed open.
Okay, awesome. Okay, back to Ryder.
so you see the panel of him throwing it up in the air, like just like tossing the pins, and before they land, he says something. We need to get out of here. He goes, I guess we need to get out of here, and then it shows a close up of his face inside the helmet with a speech bubble going, and I know exactly who to see.
There's a couple panels after that, back down in the cave, and we see HR like very slowly, creakily pulling himself to his feet. And coming down one of the side corridors, we see Mary Louise Rogers walking up. What is she?
That bitch.
How's she dressed, Lighthammer?
She is, contrary to what she's normally wearing, she's in a white dress this time. It has the logo, the imagery. It's a high-necked collar white dress. The imagery is emblazoned like right on her collarbone. Very, very thin white dress. Basically like adhering to her body up until it hits her hips and then kind of opens into a fuller skirt. And she's wearing like white boots that are not the most practical for walking through a cave, but they're more practical than the heels she normally wears. And she is carrying a black book.
Okay, excellent. So
With
she
fake
walks
writing on
up, and there's a panel of her standing over HR as he's kind of, on his knees pulling himself up. And she frowns and just says, "You need to keep your people under control. We can't have him disturbing these plans. Dark Rider's interests mirror our own right now. And if that child gets back Hyun before we can finish the ritual, our plans fall apart."
I want to see a couple panels of us on Ryder's bike. I assume I'm riding behind him, right?
I would assume as much, yeah. If
Cool.
you're writing at all, I don't know.
Oh, I was assuming you said we were going together. You said like we need to get out of here, and I know to talk to. I assume I was coming with you.
Yeah, I would assume as much, but I didn't know if you flew or if you had any other
And probably-
movement powers.
And probably
No.
in any panel where you two are on the bike together and there's crowds in the background, there's at least 3 people taking pictures.
Oh, absolutely. We see me pull out my phone as I'm writing, and there's a text from Mike Donnelly, and it's like, "Good job making friends with the writer." And then the next text is like,
I've got
"It
one if you
seems like
don't."
the fans want to kiss next. Let's make that happen, shall we?"
Moon Harbor Heroes is produced by Anthony Sheets and TP Huth, and edited by Anthony Sheets. Anthony can be found on Twitter at Icy New Year, or at icynewyear.com. T is the host of Incubator on Air, a new play podcast available on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, and Google Play. They can be found at T Huth Playwright on Twitter, or at TPHuth94 on Instagram. Faces is GM by me, Anthony Sheets. Lighthammer is played by T Huth. Ryder Typhon is played by Kaido Kane. Kaido is a Twitch personality and loves their 3 mischievous cats. You can find them at the Versian on Twitter, and as Kaido Kane on twitch.tv. Our logo was designed by Beautiful Beasties. She can be found on Instagram at beastly.doodles or at patreon.com/beautifulbeasties. The music in this issue is Prelude in Action by Kevin MacLeod. A link to his website and the license will be in the show notes. If you want to get a hold of us, email us at moonharborheroes@gmail.com or find us on Twitter at moonharborcast. If you enjoyed this issue, please leave us a review on iTunes and tell a friend. Word of mouth and 5-star reviews are really the best way for us to keep bringing these stories to more people. And thanks for helping us save the world. We'll see you next issue.